Hey guys, it's day 10 of this 0 to 100K per month challenge without selling a course. I'll be showcasing live on me creating an info product business from scratch, from $0. You're gonna see live on everything that I'll be building out in terms of what offer or niche I'll be selecting, what type of scripts I'll be using, and I'll be showcasing the VSL breakdowns, how to create the VSLs live, the automations live, everything live, why I'm selecting a specific offer, creating offers that work for all industries, creating scripts that work for all industries as well. But not only that, you'll be learning from my mistakes, my failures, my losses, me losing money. And not only that, I'll be showcasing the embarrassing parts. The P&L, what is my profit and loss? How much money am I spending? How much money am I losing? What's my CPL? What's my cost per qualified book call? What's my show up rates? What's my close rates? And more importantly, what's the customer acquisition cost? What's the CAC? I'll be showcasing everything live, the embarrassing parts, so you can learn from my failures. You can learn from my mistakes. You can learn from me losing money and also learning from that and reverse engineering the problems there. So who the hell am I? My name is Gian Espino. I'm currently based in Tokyo, Japan for the past 2 years, originally from Los Angeles. I've worked with a lot of the big info product gurus or guys in this space, from Kai Bax, Serge Guattari, Jordan Platine, and Sander Stage. For some of these people, I've worked with them very, very closely. And not only that, I've worked on their actual accounts as well, their client accounts, hundreds of them. They have a lot of freaking accounts, so there's a lot of data to learn from. I've been in the space for around 6 years or so, behind the scenes. So how this video is going to be structured is, number one, we're going to do a recap. What has been happening in the last few days or last few weeks, and we're going to do a recap of the overall strategy that I'll be using to hit this 100K per month challenge, starting from $0. I can't use any existing capital. Number two, we'll do a live breakdown of the ad accounts. So you will see all the numbers live, like CPM, CTR, CPCs, CPLs, cost per book call. You'll be seeing the live changes on the VSL, the landing page, the questionnaires, the type forms, the Calendlies, why I'm making specific small changes. You'll see the decision-making process live. And number three, we'll go through the financials, the really raw numbers. So we'll go to a reporting dashboard, how much I'm spending, what's my cost per book call, how many calls am I getting, how many show-ups I'm getting, even if it's terrible weeks, terrible months. I'll be showcasing everything live. Even if my show-up rate is very low, my close rate's very low, like 20%, even like a show rate of 20%, which is absolutely crazy. I'll be showcasing the ugly. So you can learn from my mistakes, and I can show you how I will be solving these problems and these bottlenecks live. And lastly, which is my favorite part, is you get to decide what I do with the capital. So we'll be making money throughout this challenge from 3K, 5K, 10K, 20K, 50K per month. And the audience gets to decide how I'll be deploying that capital. How much money I'll be spending on a specific ad, how much money I'm going to be spending on a specific offer, a creative, a funnel. If you wanted to test an offer, if you want to test it a specific video, if you want to test it a specific funnel automation, you can use that with my money. I'll be showcasing it live on YouTube and then some clips on Instagram if I can fit it in a 90 to 3-minute video. So you get to decide. Just drop in the comments what you want me to test out with my money, and I'll be doing it for you. Anyways, let's get right into the video. Much love, guys. Cheers. All right, let's do a quick recap of what has been happening in the last few days. So some background information. When I first started, I didn't have any money. Hell, I couldn't even afford a fucking Google domain. Like, I had zero. So I just want to recreate the steps that I did to get here. So how I started freelancing because I had no money. I wasn't smart enough. I dropped out of college. I wasn't smart enough for textbooks. So I had to do freelancing. So what I would do, I'd go on Facebook groups. I would message these, these brands, these agencies, these people, if they needed a specific media buyer. I worked for free. So it took me around 8 months to get my first client working for free, but I knew if I can get an account spending $1,000 per month, I can leverage that case study to get me an account spending $3,000 per month, and then $5,000, then $10,000 per month, all the way to $50,000 a month, and then $300,000, $600,000 a month, where that gave me access to Javi Coffee, Miracle Brand, Amazon.com, and stuff like that. And that's snowballed me to be able to work with Sander Stage, Jordan Platine, Kai Bax, Serge Guattari in that order. So that's a bit of background information about me. But yeah, so what has been happening in the last 10 days? So the funnel that we'll be using is a typical call funnel. We'll do a video/image ad to a lead form, in most cases, not really, to a VSL, to a booking page, to a sales page. So the funnel breakdown is quite simplistic. But when it comes to a call funnel, there's a lot of problems that happens, which is show-up rate issues and quality issues. So this system that you see here, it might look complex, but these are the specific things that are needed to resolve those bottlenecks in terms of show-up rates and close rates. You'll be watching me building it out live. Also, some case studies I've also have worked with Matisse as well. If you're in the French market, Matisse is around 150 to 200K per month. His goal in the next few months is 300K per month in net profits. Some of my other case studies spent $100,000 here, got around 1,000 book calls. My name is here. $300,000, 1.2 thousand book calls. And here spent around $250,000, got 1.4 thousand book calls, and my name is here cropped up a bit. Not only that, $250,000 got 18,000 B2B leads, which generated $9.7 million. Here spent almost $500,000, got 27,000 B2B leads, and my name is here as well. Gian Espino, 32 million. Gian Espino, 37 million, and then a smaller one, Gian Espino, 7.5 million for the quarter. But yeah, let's get right into it. So that's kind of like a recap, but let's do a deeper recap. So for a recap and strategy, let's cover the math. So let's look at the top side here. So let's reverse engineer. How can we hit $100,000 per month? So my AOV is very expensive because I only service people that are rich that want to get richer. So it's going to be very expensive. So I do want to preface this. So my AOV is 15,000 bucks. This is done for you. So weekly calls with me, but also I'll be building out everything for you live when it comes to info product, like scaling these businesses. I only work with the top dogs in the space. So if you want more book calls and more money for your info product business, that's me. But kindly just use this information for free. I don't want to sell a course. I don't want to sell anything. This is just for me so I can showcase everything live for you. So my goal is $100,000. My AV price is $15,000. So simply just get $100,000 divided by 15,000. We'll get around 6.6 deals. So that's the goal. But obviously we can't close 0.6 of a person, so you have to round up to 7 deals. Okay, so now let's talk about what our target is. First, we have to understand what's the industry standard for B2B or highly competitive industries. For a cost per qualified book call, when it comes to competitive industries, the max it will get to $300 cost per qualified book call. But for me, I want to be safe because it's my money. I want to be very, very conservative when it comes to math. I don't want to shoot for the moon. So the max for B2B or hyper competitive industries is $300. I'm willing to spend $480 for a cost per qualified book call. 480 bucks. That's very expensive. I'm also willing to spend a maximum of close to 1,000 cost per qualified book call. For me, my money specifically. For your situation, I want you to be at like 100, 200 cost per qualified book call. But for my money specifically, I'm willing to spend 1,000 bucks for a cost per qualified book call. That's for me specifically. Let's look at the target show rate. For target show rate, when it comes to specific industries, it can get all the way up to 95%, 90%, but an average is around 75 to 80%. That's when you're really locked and loaded. For me, I want to be conservative. Show up rates, I'll have it at 65%. If it's lower, it's completely fine. Close rates, I'll have it at 20%. Average is around 30%, 27%. Depends what type what your offer is and how saturated your market is. But 20%, I'm not really good at sales. I don't do sales calls. I hate sales. So for me, instead of 33%, I'm okay with 20%. Very, very conservative. AOV is 15,000 and the deals that we need to hit is 7 deals. So let's reverse engineer the numbers. So we know that we have to close 7 deals. But with a close rate of 20%, let's go reverse order. Close rate of 20%. So we had 7 deals divided by 0.20, because that's 20%. We need 35 live calls, right? But not all of these people, what's the total amount of calls, excluding no-shows? So we get the show up rate, 65%. All we got to do is 35 divided by 0.65, and you'll get 54 total calls needed. It's quite a bit of calls. For the 54 total calls, now we can calculate the cost per qualified book call, like how much ad spend I need. Like I mentioned, I'm okay spending 480 bucks. So we just get 480 times the amount of total calls, 54. So I'm okay spending $25,920 to get around $105,000 because it's 7 deals, not 0.6, right, 6.6, which is around a 4.05x ROAS. So that's for a very expensive cost per qualified book call, a very subpar show up rate, and a very, very low close rate, and my AOV at $15,000. I'm okay spending, almost $500 for a cost per qualified book call at 480. Not only that though, if I want to be even more safe, a 2x ROAS, I'm okay spending $1,000. But that's my specific situation. Okay, so what has been happening in the last 10 days or so? So I started warming up my ads. I spent around $426. This is June. I started my warm-up ads on June 4th. So this is kind of a quick launch. And now it is June 13th. Yesterday was June 12th. I got 2 calls so far. So that means my cost per qualified book call is at 213. So some specific columns here so you guys can understand. On the left-hand side, you will have it by dates, by weeks, how much money I'm spending, how many calls I'm getting on Facebook. And then this will average out the cost per qualified book call for that week, how many automatic bookings I'll have. Here I'll have the quality. So this is based on the questionnaire. So it's a type form. I can see how qualified they are in terms of their financials, if they have the money, if they can afford the service and stuff like that. Here on the red, you'll see how many calls I'll be taking today, how many of these calls showed up. This will showcase my show up rates, how many offers I pitched, how many deals I closed, and then what's my cost per acquisition, and then what's my ROAS on cash collected that day, and total deal value in terms of revenue as well, if it's like a longer time horizon. So my offer is 15K for 3 months, and then after that, just 5K per month. But yeah, so I want to give you a heads up. I only service very fucking rich people. Okay, so that is my numbers so far. So we spent around $426. We got 2 calls at 213 cost per qualified book call. So now let's look at the ads, and now let's look at the funnel and the questionnaire. So if we go here, let's go to this campaign. This is my warm-up campaign, by the way. So you can see I'm using Broad US, Instagram, Reels, and then I have specific codes here, which may look like alien language. But this will just tell me which videos I'm using. So VV is video. So you can see here I'm using video 2, video 6 to 9, video 3 to 5, video 10 to 14, video 15 to 20. And then I'm using LP3, which is a VSL type form combination. When it comes to how much money I've spent, $394. I got 1 call here, but another call I scheduled, but it wasn't reported. The main metrics I want to look for is spend, more importantly, on the ad level, because right now, in big picture, it looks like, okay, this is expensive. Like you spent $400, you only got 2 calls. But for me, you got to weigh out how much I'm spending per ad. So I go on the ad level more specifically. I look at the amount spent, and I can see here, like, okay, if my target cost per qualified book call is $480, and I can see here on the ad level, it has only spent $1, $16, $54, $96, then I just got to spend more money. But I'm currently capped. That's why I'm warming up the account. You can see here, I can only spend $50 a day. That's baby numbers. We got to spend like $5,000 a day. Close to, right? Ideally in the start phase, at least 500 and 1,000. But yeah, just using broad, complete broad. One thing I'm doing is, so I'm not doing a lead form because this is for expensive people, right? So I'm not using a native lead form. I'm going straight from ad to optimize for schedule, straight to the VSL, and then straight to the type form because it's expensive, right? I don't need to set these leads. If I was a different industry where my AOV was much lower, then I'll do a lead form. But I've tested lead forms for highly competitive industries, like if you are Kybax, Serge Guattari, and stuff like that, or if you sell much more expensive stuff. Lead forms is just going to get you really bad quality. But if you're in all like B2C or less competitive industries, lead forms are great. Opt-in forms are completely great too, but this is a $15,000 price package here. In terms of metrics, in highly competitive industries, my industry is coaches and consultants. You can see my CPM is very expensive. This is standard, but I do want to get my CPM down to like maybe $50, $80, but you need really solid creatives. But what I've noticed so far, the CPMs in this industry can get all the way to $200, which is absolutely crazy. So that definitely has to get under control. Let's look at the ad set level. So the campaign, we'll have it as an ABO so I can control how much spend I'm spending for each ad account. As you can see the spend here, I'm trying to push the spend as much as I can, but I'm currently capped. Like it will take me around 2 weeks or so to get uncapped of a $50 a day ad spend budget. You can see it's an ABO. I am using around 3 to 5 creatives or 6 creatives per ad set. Completely broad. If you try to do fancy targeting, you're just going to get terrible results. I've tried that so many times. So websites, schedule events, no dynamics, 75. Dynamic is definitely something I do want to test later down the line. Once I find a few winning ads and when I do have a higher spend threshold other than $50 a day. I have exclusions just to make sure it's completely cold, and then just broad 18 plus, all genders, English, UK, US, and then Majority of the time, if I do have the creatives, like the 1x1 formats, like square or 4x5, and then 9x16, I typically do automatic placements, so Advantage Plus placements. So that's the go-to. But I don't have that. I only have Reels, created the creatives on CapCut. So Instagram feed, profile feed, like this is very basic. Just anything that's 9x16, I have that selected specifically for Instagram. When it comes to the Facebook page, using any page that I have available, Instagram page is just my personal one or like my business one, technically. Like going straight to the landing page, which I'll showcase in a bit. Using the ad copy. So the ad copy I'm using is more of a contrarian script. Ad copy typically doesn't perform too well. It has one of the least lifts. So if you're trying to do any targeting, it will have no lift. Like I've tested some accounts where the ad copy has 0 ad copy and that even performs well, which is freaking crazy. So don't put too much focus in terms of ad copy, like doing like 5 primary text for ad copy, because that's going to multiply the amount of variations that you have. So just stick to one and then just make sure you have your ICP and then you have a CTA, and it doesn't really matter. So here, coaches and consultants copy paste the $9.7 million system. Sick of all the or you don't pay ads? You'll pay $25K, get passed to a junior, and poof, no results. I built the anti-BS system instead. $9.7 million in 12 months from cold ads, 1.4 thousand calls at $250,000 of ad spend, 439 calls with $45,000 in ad spend. No courses, no fake promises, just what actually works. Click learn more. The reason why I'm using this is because if you notice in the info product space, there's a lot of big bodacious offers, like guaranteed 120 high ticket clients in 24 hours. Obviously that's exaggeration, but you guys do see these ads where it's big crazy guarantees. And not only that, for the guarantees, you don't even if they don't hit the target and you want your refund back, what happens then? There's like 20 million conditions that you don't even qualify for, and that person will not even give you your money. I've seen that countless of times, and I just don't want people to get burnt. So right now it's just providing value. Instead of a big bodacious offer, I'm just having ICP, mix it with case study and offer, and that's it. That's very simple. I want to give as much value as possible, showcase as much proof as possible to the user, instead of promising the world where delivery is not there with a lot of people that I know in this space. I'm not going to call them out. So that is my setup in terms of the ads. Those are my ad metrics, and that's the problem that I'm solving. I'm struggling right now. Is I'm capped at spend. I want to spend more money, but I can't spend more money. We closed I forgot to mention this. We closed around a 3K deal, but this is through what I mentioned earlier in terms of like freelancing. So I think day 2 on my Instagram, I showcased how I did freelancing when I first started from 0 to get that initial $1 in. So I reached out to around 100 plus people. I set around 2 calls from that. So this is outside of ads, so you won't see here, and I closed 3K. I have the recording on day 2 on my Instagram if you guys want to check that out. So I forgot which specific date it is. So we have 3K to spend right now. But we've spent, how much of it so far? We spent $426 so far. So we got around $2.6 thousand to spend till we can get our first call, our first close. And then after we get 15,000 in close, we'll be pushing all of it for ads. Every single penny for ads, nothing else. Okay, so we covered the ads, we covered the ad set level, the audience targeting, how the ad is currently set up. LP is just a landing page, VV is video, VSL type form. Let's go through the landing page. So I built this landing page on Replit. It took me less than an hour to make some of these changes. So majority of the traffic is going to be for mobile, so you do want to check that out in most cases. So let's open here. So here I have a pre-headline. So for coaches and consultants spending 5K per month on ads already. So as I mentioned, my call out is people who are rich. It's not for beginners. It's for people who have a lot of money. So that's a call out that I need to put out. So people who are spending money already. So they know everything about call funnels, webinars, and stuff like that. And the headline is copy the funnel that we use to take a coach from 20K to $9.7 million in revenue in 12 months, right? We have providing value, a case study. We have the ICP, coach. We have the big hook anchor number, 9.7 million revenue in 12 months. And also I have a sub headline. So tired of overhyped guarantees or you don't pay offers that are empty promises. So are we, that's why we created this. So if we play the video, let me refresh. So this is from scratch. So when people log into the website or when they land onto it, they actually can book in a call. So I added more friction that it's like already an expensive ICP call out. but more friction where they have to watch 2 minutes of the video to actually unlock the booking. Because I don't want a cost per book call at $50, but my cost per qualified book call is $2,000. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't want everybody to book, only the people who are actually serious. So that's why it's at 2 minutes before they can even click on the button. So when they click on the button, it's just me talking intro. And then not only that, this is on Wistia. So I add these kind of like chapters just to make sure people can skip around. And after they watch a certain amount of video, then there's a video progression bar, like 53%, just to give people a dopamine so they can actually watch the entire video here. And then once they're ready, they book in a call. And then they'll be redirected to Typeform. So we can go through here. So the first question is, are you a coach consultant spending $5K per month on ads? So I click on yes. We offer done-for-you services. Are you interested in done-for-you? Yes. Current business monthly revenue. Describe what your offer is. And then describe who your ICP is. And then what's currently holding you back from your business. And then our done for you is $5,000 per month, 3 months paid up front, which is $15,000. Is this within your budget? And I say, yes, this is within my budget. No, but I'm opening to financing. No, this is not within my budget. Oops, we got to click on something. And then we recommend a budget of $3,000 to $5,000 in advertising budget for our first 30 days together. And that is on top of our service fee. Is that within your budget? You can comfortably risk. Say yes. And then people just drop in what their funnel is. So I can actually audit them and really see if they're actually serious. There's a few things that we can improve in terms of the Typeform because it does ask a lot of friction questions, especially the Typeform. People don't want to, type. So in terms of current business revenue, what I can do is just have a selection or a drop-down menu of like, 10 to 50K per month or 10 to 20K per month, 20 to 50. So they can just select, not actually type it out because people are inherently lazy. For offer, I need to keep it as is so people can be a bit more detailed. ICP, yeah, I'll keep it as a paragraph. And then what's currently holding you back? Yeah, I can have a drop-down selection, so it's easier to navigate at least 2 questions here, just to slightly remove friction. And people just hop on the Calendly right after this, and then book in a call. So right now we are at a $213 cost per qualified book call. If we look at the Typeform, I can see that they have a real website. I backtrack their specific email, phone number, and also how much money that they have, and also if they confirm that the ad spend and also the price of the done for you program is within their budget. But that is my financials, all the ugly, all the good. Those are my numbers on my ads. That is my funnel that I'm using and why I'm using specific things. That is my Typeform. This is the funnel I'm using. These are the people I've worked with. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Not only that, if you want me to test anything specifically while we try to get the ad spend unlocked, because I need to be spending like $500 to $1,000 a day. So right now we're still in the warm-up phase. If you want me to test out anything right now, if you have any ideas, drop it down in the comment section below. Anyways, this is really, really fun. I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers. Peace.